Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing how to intrigue your ex. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.datetome.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Check out my socials for extra content. The links are in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing how to intrigue your ex. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you will need to intrigue your ex to think about you again. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 powerful ways to intrigue your ex. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is take them on a journey. Now when I say take them on a journey, I do not mean that you go and knock on your ex's door and say, hey, do you fancy a ride? Do you want to go on a road trip? No, this is not that type of journey. What we're talking about here is a journey of them realizing, understanding and seeing your improvements as the person that they knew, version 1 of yourself, to the version 2.0 of yourself that you strive to be. And if you don't strive to be a version 2.0, then you shouldn't even be trying to get your ex back. So that needs to be front and foremost in your mind, that you need to become a version 2.0 of yourself. You need to improve. You need to be a better person today than you were yesterday, and a better person tomorrow than you are currently today. But how can you do that? And how can you showcase this to your ex if they dumped you and right now they don't actually even want to speak with you? Well, this is where we're talking about going on a journey, taking your ex on a journey, seeing you improving via blogs, vlogs, or other social media updates. Now you might think, well, my ex-dumper isn't even connected to me on social media. Well, listen, this strategy is likely to work because it's covering all bases. You're covering the potential of vlogs, blogs, social media updates, all of those types of things, which even if your ex doesn't see themselves, you are likely to have some type of connection, a friend, a family member, somebody who is likely to pass this information on. And the reason why they would likely do this isn't an initial post and then you hear nothing at all beyond that. No, this is a journey. That's the point in point number 1. That's the process we're talking about. This is going to be you showcasing your journey. You're taking them on a journey by showcasing them yours. You're showing your improvements. You're showing your goal setting and actually reaching those goals. And you're doing this because you're going to be providing updates on certainly a weekly basis, if not twice weekly, maybe even daily, depending on exactly what you want to do. Whatever social media you are using, like I said, it could even be blogs or vlogs, whatever it may be, you can create a pattern where you are putting out there a goal, a challenge, an aim. Let's just say, for instance, it's health and fitness. Your goal could be that you want to run a marathon by the end of the year and you need to be getting fit because you've never ran a marathon before. And therefore you're showcasing your evolution from a version 1 that you are right now to a version 2.0 where you can eventually run this marathon. Now by doing so, you will be improving your health and fitness. This would have a byproduct of making you more physically attractive. On top of this, it's showing you achieving something that your ex probably never imagined you would ever even want to try to do, let alone that you could try and do. And again, even if your ex isn't actually connected with you on socials, there are so many ways that they could find out because you're going to be providing frequent updates. This is a potential where they might find out halfway throughout your journey and jump on board with what you're doing further along than the start. It doesn't matter if they don't see the first post. That's the beauty of this, because it's going to be frequent updates. It could be further down the line. But ultimately, they will likely see how you get from point A to point B, improving yourself, in this instance, improving your physicality, but also showing your goal setting, showing how you can achieve things, showing how you can be ambitious with your targets. This is all attractive. These types of things can be very, very attractive to anybody who knows about it. And it's not just going to be your ex who might see this. I mean, I've been saying they might not be connected with you on social media, but let's just say they are. They're clearly going to see what you're doing. But this is going to be everybody. Everybody is on board with the journey. You might get messages from people you didn't even realise was checking out your socials and are really, really interested to see why you're uploading videos on YouTube or why you're uploading a blog. This is about not just trying to achieve self-improvement, but also prove that you can be ambitious and somebody who succeeds in a goal and a target. If you do this, you are going to create intrigue in anybody who is watching from afar. People who might not have even been too bothered about you when you first started, maybe even your ex, for that matter. They will likely be cheering you along as they see you get better and better and better. This can be a wonderful way for your expert-dumper to eventually reach out to you, and that's what we want. We want to intrigue your expert-dumper to reach out, and that's why taking them on a journey of your self-improvement via social media, blogs and vlogs can be a wonderful, powerful way to intrigue your ex. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please like this video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And point number 2 is correct, bespoke, no contact. Now, if you haven't heard of the no contact rule, this is something that lots of people suggest you implement if you've been dumped and want to try to get your ex back. However, there are many different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online. And I believe that my version will give you that best possible chance of success to reconnect with your ex. Now, if you want to learn more about my version of a rule, please check out my YouTube channel, see where I have my playlist, and you'll find one entitled the No Contact Rule. So please subscribe to my channel, and then you can fully immerse yourself in my version of the rule. But my version of the rule isn't one size fits all. Yes, there is a basis. Generally speaking, if you've been dumped, you should never contact your ex again unless they contact you first. But there are many caveats to the rule, and that's why I'm saying it's important that you get bespoke advice about exactly the type of no contact you need to be doing. If you're the dumper, for instance, if and when you use no contact is totally different to if you're the dumpee. If you're long distance, this can also be different. If you're someone who is fairly close by to your ex, but you're going to be moving away soon, that is different again. If you work together, if you have children together, you can see from these examples, there can't be a one-size-fits-all. Yes, we can generally say that if you've been dumped, you should never contact your ex again unless they contact you first. That is a good basis. If you don't know what to do, that is a good basis. It's unlikely to make things worse, and it's fairly likely to improve your chances, but it's not going to give you that ultimate edge on trying to get your ex back if you're just doing it on a flat line and not exactly knowing the intricacies of your unique scenario. However, if you do understand your bespoke necessity of what you need to do, this will give you that edge, because no contact is really, really powerful. And if you use it correctly, and by the way, if you hear versions of a rule such as 30-day no contact, such as if you have been dumped, you don't contact your ex for 30 days, and then whether or not they contact you or not, on the 30th day, you reach out to them. All of that type of stuff I do not believe in, okay? My bespoke advice is not going to include that type of content, and that is what I'm talking about. There are many different versions that you can find online. That's a fairly famous one, the 30-day no contact rule. I don't believe in it. I don't see how that's going to help, and you need to make sure that you're using the right no contact, but if you're not using the correct system, you're not likely to get the results necessary. Now, what we're trying to do today is intrigue your ex into contacting you, and no contact is really powerful. But, for instance, like that 30-day version of a rule that I do not believe in, if you don't hear from your ex in 30 days, then you reach out to them. In my opinion, and from the experience and research that I've gained after many years of doing this job, you're much more likely to destroy any growing intrigue and attraction from your ex to you, rather than reel them in from that point. 30 days is nothing. 30 days might feel like it's been forever more, but in terms of a breakup, in my mind, in my opinion, it is very insignificant in the scheme of things, because from my research, it takes at least around an average of 6 months for a dumper to reach out to a dumpee. So 30 days, it might seem like a very, very, very long time, and the grind is real. It really does feel tough. However, you shouldn't be shocked if you haven't heard from your ex after 30 days. And if you then reach out to them, I just don't see how that's going to help you. In most instances, you're always going to get abnormalities. You're always going to get that 1 in 100 that it works, but most of the time it doesn't. So, if you use correct, bespoke, no contact, ideal for your situation, this is going to intrigue your ex. Attraction grows in space. Somebody can't miss you if you're always in their life. They won't reach out to you unless they feel intrigue, wonder, thinking about you. And how on earth can they feel that if you're in their life? They need to miss you for them to want to reach out to you. And this is why I do believe that no contact is really, really powerful. And when we're talking about how to intrigue your ex, we can't ignore the huge, most important element of that, which, in my opinion, is no contact. That's the basis. If you are doing all of the other hints, tips, and advice that I give today and in other podcasts, but along with that, you are chasing your ex, you're knocking on their door, you're texting them, you're calling them, you're waiting outside where they work, do you really think it's going to help? Even if you're doing all of the other good things. If you break no contact, if you behave in an inappropriate way regarding contact, I'm sorry, but you're not likely to be able to intrigue your ex into wanting to be with you anymore because you're not allowing attraction to grow in space. You're not allowing your ex to miss you. And if your ex doesn't miss you, then you won't be able to get them back. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is become a dateable individual. Now maybe as you, right now, you're looking in the mirror, you're thinking to yourself, I am a dateable individual. And listen, I'm not here to say that you're not. I don't want to negatively affect your self-esteem, but we have to understand the dynamic here. You are the dumpee, they are the dumper. They ended the relationship because they lost romantic emotional attraction towards you. Now this may have been physically based, it may have been emotionally based, it was probably a combination of the two. But if they're not feeling enough romantic emotional attraction for you, then they do not see you as a dateable option, because if they did, they wouldn't have dumped you. Now, interestingly enough, it's not just about how they see you in the physical and the mental state, but it's also how other people see you. And this is where you can really influence things. Now, we spoke about in point number 1, the example about how you could be going on a journey of self-improvement. And in that example, we was talking about health and fitness. Now, if that was the case, if you really do something such as that example, you will be helping your health and fitness. You will be having that byproduct of being more physically attractive. You could be ticking that box, checking that box of making sure that your ex-dumper would find you more physically attractive. But what happens if it's not just about the physical? Or what happens if you don't decide to do point number 1 exactly the same and you don't have an outlet for your ex-dumper to understand that you are a dateable person? Well, this is where you have to jump into the deep end and consider dating new people. Now, you might not want to date new people. You might be thinking, I only want my ex back. I don't want anybody else. Nobody stands up to my ex. If I can't have my ex, I would rather be single forever. But listen, ironically, one of the best ways to get your ex back is to date new people, because dating new people shows you are a dateable individual. Now, we've already said your ex-dumper may have dumped you for various possible reasons, but we've also said that just because their viewpoint is on your physicality, on the emotional side, there is another side of things, which is other people. And if other people are dating you, if other people spend time with you, then you become someone who is more intriguing. And again, that's what we're trying to do here. Because if your ex-dumper thinks, right, nobody will date my dumpee, they will always be around as my backup option. They will be my safety net. If they are thinking that, they are never going to come back to you in a romantic relationship. They need to feel that you genuinely may have gone for good. And the best way you can do this is to live your life to the full and get back out there dating as soon as you feel able to. Now, you might not have the confidence, but I spoke of at the beginning of this point. Maybe you don't actually feel you're a dateable option, but listen, you are, you can be, and you will improve. Take things slow. Online dating can be a great way to have conversations long before you ever decide to meet anyone. And I do genuinely believe you will have that option. Some of you might think, well, nobody wants to meet me. Well, they will. You need to make sure you have a great dating profile. You need to make sure that your communication skills are on point. These are the types of things that sometimes people speak with me about via my audio coaching service. It's not just about trying to get an ex back in the scheme of, right, how can I get them back? There is all the background elements, and having a great online dating profile in trying to attract new people into your life could ironically be the best way to make you seem more appealing to your ex and therefore one day getting back together. And who knows, you might actually find someone even better than your ex. It happens more than you might think. And even though you probably think, I don't want anybody else other than my ex, well, let's see how you feel when you actually have communication and a date with someone who is more attractive than your ex, someone who is funnier than your ex, someone who you emotionally connect with more than your ex. Then we'll see whether you want your ex back, because that person could be around your next corner. You just don't know where that next and when that next corner is. So just live your life to the full, explore new possibilities, and if and when you get the chance to date, it doesn't have to be online dating, but that is a great way to dip your toe in. That is a possibility for if and when your ex finds out about this, and they will. There are so many ways they can find this out. You don't have to text them. This isn't about texting your ex and say, hey, I'm dating someone new. No, of course not. They will likely find out. It happens all the time. If and when they do, and they realize that you are now a dateable individual, that other people want to spend time with you, even if it's not romantic, even if you're just spending time with new friends, new people, if they find out about it, that is when the jealousy starts to come in. And this is where they start to feel intrigue. If I dumped my dumpee, why does this person want to spend time with them? That is where it counts. That's where it happens. And that is where your ex-dumper can feel huge, powerful intrigue for you.